Good evening. Good evening, Hope College. We are so excited that you are joining us here tonight. We have been thinking about the start of orientation since the moment that you decided to choose Hope. And I am just so excited to welcome you and give you a little bit more information this evening. My name is Katie Decoster. I work in the Student Life Office at Hope, and I will be one of your orientation advisors. I am so pleased to get to introduce the 14th president of Hope College, Matt Scogan. I also want to point out that throughout our time together, there is a Q&A box. So as you listen and as you get to hear a little bit from President Skogen, if there are any questions that you have that aren't being answered, feel free to add them to that Q&A and we will answer them as best we can throughout the evening. Thank you so much.
Hey everybody, thanks Katie. My name is Matt Scogan. I'm the president of Hope. I've had the privilege and the honor to hold this job for 11 months and 23 days. And so not quite a year, but getting close. And I just want to echo Katie's warm welcome. We are so excited to welcome you, the class of 2024, to Hope College. We've been getting to know you. We've been reading your applications. We've been hosting you for visit days. And now we'll get to know you as a class of 2024. And you'll get to know each other. And one thing I want you to know is that you are an impressive group of people, just period. You're a very impressive group of people. You're talented. You've got skills in all kinds of areas. You're a very diverse group of people. You'll be the second most racially diverse class in Hope's history. You're a geographically diverse group of people coming from all over the world to Hope College. And so we're so excited. We are just so excited to welcome you here to Hope. And in just less than 2 months, you'll be here on campus with us, and we can't wait. We're excited. I personally am very, very excited. And I hope you are excited also, although I imagine what you're really feeling is some combination of excitement and a lot of nerves. And that makes sense. That's totally normal. It's totally normal to be nervous making your transition to college anyway. And obviously, given everything that's going on in the world, I'm sure that heightens the sense of anxiety that you might be feeling. And that's okay. That's totally normal. You are going through one of the biggest transitions of your life. The transition to college is one of the biggest transitions of your life. And you're going through that transition during one of the most tumultuous periods of human history ever. And so it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. But what I want to assure you of is that everything's going to be okay. And it is, I promise. Everything's going to work out. We have been spending thousands of hours, and that's literally true, thousands of hours on our framework to reopen campus in the fall, and we're excited about it. And what I want you to know is that it will be a healthy and safe learning environment, but it will also be a fun and full college experience for you. And that really was our goal, was to balance both, to have a healthy and safe environment, and also to maximize the student experience while we're also maximizing campus health. And so we kind of had these twin goals, and I think that we're really in a good place, and just so excited to have you back, or to have you on campus and to have students back. I love students. We all love students. I think hanging out with students is by far my favorite part of my job. You'll get to know me. I live right in the center of campus, so right in the center of Pine Grove. If you recall, if you've been to campus recently, there's a house. There's a house in the center of the Pine Grove, and that's where I live. I live with my wife. My wife and I are both graduates of Hope College. We both graduated in 2002. We have 3 young kids, and in the back of our house is a swing and a tree house and a slide, and you're welcome to come over anytime and play on the slide and the tree house with us. So we live right with you, and we just can't wait to have all of you back. We love students. As I said, hanging out with students is by far the part of my job that I like the best. And I think what's cool about Hope is that if we went around and asked everybody who works at Hope, I think everybody would say the same thing. We love students at this college. We just do. The professors love students. Our staff loves students. We love hanging out with students. And we wake up in the morning every single day so excited to be with you, our students. And that's cool. And that really makes for a college that is a very student-centric college. And you'll feel that once you're here. You'll feel that in a very palpable and tangible way. That we are a student-centric college. And so as we welcome you here, I want you to know that you belong here, and that when you get here, it'll maybe take some time because it's a transition, but eventually you will feel in a very tangible way that this is a student-centric place and you belong here. And that's just true. You do belong here. I think when I think back to my transition to college, it didn't happen right away. I arrived as a freshman on Hope's campus in the fall of 1998. I came here, I didn't know a single other person who was going to Hope. So I came here all by myself. And I kind of remember on the first day of orientation, just looking around and thinking, I don't know anybody. Am I really supposed to be here? Have I made the right decision? And what happened was within a matter of weeks, I met people who became lifelong friends. I met a girl who became my wife. And I met faculty who became lifelong mentors, and faculty who helped me discern my own calling in the world. And that is really cool, because when you step back and think about why are you going to college in the first place, you're going to college to help discern the role that you want to play in the world. You're going to college to figure out what you want to do after college. And some of you know exactly what you want to do after college, and that's fine. A lot of you have no idea what you're going to do after college, and that is great, actually. That's even better, because what an amazing time to observe the world, to study the world, to discern what's going on in the world, and then to understand how God wants to use you in the world to have an impact. And this is going to be such a great time. As I said, I just can't wait to journey with you through that time, to understand what's going on in the world. The world in all arenas is in such desperate need of thoughtful leadership. And so whatever area of academics you're interested in or hoping to focus on, the world is in desperate need of thoughtful leadership. And we're just so excited to observe the world with you, to study what's going on in the world, and then help you discern how God wants to use you to have an impact on the world. And as I said, you're impressive. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're going to leave an impact on Hope College, and you're also going to leave an impact on the world. So I'll leave it there for now. I'll flip it back to Katie, and then we'll come back later and talk through some more details about what the fall is going to look like. And then over the coming weeks, we'll give you more and more details, because for now, we have a high-level framework of what the fall is going to look like, which we'll walk through this evening. But a lot of the details we're still working out. So Katie, I'll flip it back to you.
Thank you so much, President Skogen. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm one of the co-advisors for orientation, and we have gotten so many great questions about orientation. Tonight, we're really eager to give you some answers. First, I'm going to be introducing the members of our team who are leading orientation, beginning with Ellen Awad. She's the co-advisor. She's also the Associate Dean of Student Life, and she'll be giving you so many of the details that you are eager to know.
Right, we're gonna cover a lot of details this evening. One of the most wonderful aspects of the work that Katie and I do is we get to work with student leaders, and at Hope, student leaders are positioned to do great things. And this summer, we are working with two of those student leaders, our orientation directors, and I would like them to pop on the screen now, and I will throw it over to introduce Cam and Adriana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron. I'm a rising senior at Hope, studying economics and political science and math.
I'm Adriana. I'm also a rising senior here at Hope, and I am majoring in English and biology, and I'm on the pre-dental track.
Yeah, before becoming orientation directors, I was involved in orientation through an orientation assistant position and an assistant director position. Both of these are upperclassmen volunteer positions that our upperclassmen can volunteer for, and they're there to make sure that our students and families have a smooth and welcoming transition into Hope.
I've also been involved in orientation as both an orientation assistant and an assistant director.
And like Ellen said, one of the really cool things about Hope is that students do get to help lead and plan and implement these large events like orientation. It's an incredible learning opportunity, and I see it as a way to give back to Hope. We've been spending May and June and the rest of the summer making sure that we provide you with an original orientation experience.
So through new student orientation, you will meet so many different new people, be part of a group led by orientation assistants, become acclimated to Hope, and be equipped to take on your first year at Hope. So it will be a really great blend of information and the chance to get your footing here.
Yeah, and given that we're living in some unknowns due to the pandemic, we will be offering our family orientation through a virtual platform this year. So in July and early August, there will be virtual sessions like this one to help our parents and family members become more familiar with Hope and what it offers. We are so excited to offer you these opportunities, and we are so glad that we're able to connect with you in this way.
So if you have any questions that are specific to orientation, you can feel free to contact us at orientation@hope.edu or on Instagram @Hope Orientation. You can also check out our website and our blog, which will be updated with schedules and information for events and links to videos as they become available. And updates will also be sent to your Hope email accounts.
Yeah, thank you guys, and we're so excited to meet you in the fall.
So now we're going to continue with Ellen and Kristen Bachniak. Kristen is our Associate Dean of Residential Life, and they're going to be sharing with you some more about the transition to college.
Well, I think we've already said it, but we are so excited that you are coming to Hope. And for me and Kristen, you are our life's work. We both chose to go to graduate school so that we could work with college students on a regular basis. And personally, I just have to tell you that working with first-year students is one of my favorite groups of people. So I'm really excited to be here with you tonight and with the families to help really prepare you for coming to college. I think tonight, we just want you to let go for a little bit here of your worries about all the details that are flooding your mind, because what Kristen and I hope to do is give you some food for thought, some things to discuss, some things for you to reflect on that will really help ease your transition to college, things to think about before you actually set foot on Hope's campus in August. We're gonna provide you things to think about, discuss maybe as a family, depending on how that goes for you, what you feel comfortable talking about. So excited that family members, parents are here because you can initiate some conversations, but also start to make space for your college student to have some autonomy.
Yeah, and so President Skogan already laid a really great foundation for what we want to talk about. And one of those first things is this is a transition, right? Like coming to college and leaving college is a big transition. And the other thing is that it's a transition that you maybe haven't had a huge transition in your life. Maybe you've moved, maybe you've changed schools, maybe you've done some of that. But for some of you, you maybe haven't had any kind of big transition in your life for a really long time. And so part of what we want you to think about is, what are those things that you need to be ready for? Because when you haven't done something in a long time, anything, it takes a little while to get back into the groove. And so we want to help give you your mindset of what is that transition going to look like? What are some of those things? So first of all, transition is hard. It is just hard. No matter how well prepared you are, no matter all the different little layers of that, it's just going to be a little bit difficult. But the exciting, wonderful thing about transition is if you lean into it and if you take advantage of it, it leads to growth. It always puts you out in a better place than when you started, when you have to work through some of that transition and some of that pain and some of that hard. So that's like the light at the end of the tunnel when you think about what am I going to go through, that it's gonna get you out in a different place on the other side. I have my notes over here, so I'm going to keep looking, just going to be honest about that. So the other thing is that it's not always linear, right? So when we do transition, we think it's just going to go zoop and I'm just going to do a steady incline up, but it's not always linear. There's going to be times that you go up and there's going to be times that you go down. There's going to be times that you kind of like go up and then you plateau for a long time. And the other thing about college is that we're not talking, I mean, in life, in people, we're not talking about one aspect, right? We're talking about academics, we're talking about social, we're talking about getting used to a new place. So there's a lot of different layers when we talk about what you're going to be transitioning. And then sometimes you could be going this way with one of those layers, but then this layer could be kind of going down or up and not super, super steady. So academics, maybe you're really going great and that's in a great place, but you're still kind of trying to find those people that are going to be your people. So in the transitions, you need to know it's not always going to be a straight line. We want it to be a straight line. It's not going to be. It's going to be hard. And there's going to be a lot of feelings and emotions around it. So if I say to you right now, students, for most of you, this might be the first time you're leaving home. What do you feel? Families, for most of you, this is going to be the first time that your student is leaving home. What do you think? What do you feel? There's probably a whole mix of stuff in there. There's some excitement, there's some anxiety, there's some unknown, there's all of those pieces. So all of that is normal and natural, and you have to embrace the whole package to know what you're going to be. So keep all those in mind when we're talking about transition and growth, but know that always gets you to another place. And that's what a residential college is. That's what college is getting to know yourself to be in a different place to affect and change the world, like President Skogan said. Ellen?
Yes. So transition. College is a great time of growth and development, as Kristen said. And students, what I want you to start with is a belief in yourself. You have been invited into the Hope community because we believe in you. So believe in yourself to start with. During college, you're going to have a new level of freedom. It's a time for you to start figuring out who you are as a young adult. And that includes defining who you are as an individual. Sometimes college students try out new ways of being. You might explore your different identities that you hold and see where you are in terms of those and what that means to you and how you want to be. You'll question beliefs that you have been raised with. You might push back on some of those beliefs. You might fully accept some of those beliefs, but college is a great space to really delve into what do you believe and who are you. The faith component fits in there. The great thing about Hope is that we have our campus ministries who really invite you in to explore your faith, to figure out what you believe. And the best part about it is you can question, you can ask, you can discern what your faith means in your life. You don't have to have all the answers. In fact, don't have all the answers. Be curious and engage in some questions to figure out what you believe, who you are, and how you're going to move through life as a young adult. You don't have to have everything figured out is the bottom line, but it can start with a belief in self, confidence enough to ask questions. The second thing I want to say is that mindset matters. We want you to come to college and to be open and curious to new ideas, to new ways of being. Developmentally, this is maybe more for the parents, and maybe this is not new information, but developmentally, students that are coming to college are often more black and white thinkers. Things are more clear-cut and rigid. And the cool thing about college experience is that you are going to be faced with diversity in all different forms. You're going to be introduced to new ideas, new ways of thinking and being, and that is going to help you grow intellectually to be able to really grasp complexities in life and to move beyond just seeing things as this or that, but see the gray in between. It's exciting. We got a lot of questions about academics from you, and I just want to say academics are going to be different than they were in high school. Your schedule will be different, but also you as a student are going to have to maybe learn different ways of being. If you were a high school student who did not really study much in high school, just get ready to spend some time doing that. You're going to have to read your homework, you're going to have to do assignments, and a lot of that is much more self-directed than it was maybe in high school. So get ready to do that, but also know that you can ask for help. At Hope, we have so many great resources. We have a writing center that can help you if you're writing, if you need some help with your writing skills. We have the Academic Success Center where you can find tutors for a number of different needs. You can also get help through Disability and Accessibility Resource Center if you are somebody that needs that. And the best part about Hope is that we have awesome faculty, and you as a student can make an appointment to see your faculty member. You can stay after class to ask a question. You can set up a time and really build a relationship, like President Scogan said, and find mentors for life. But what that means for you students is that you're going to have to ask for help and advocate for yourself when you need help in the classroom. The third thing I want to say to the students, and I want the parents' ear on this one, is that students, you should take charge of your life. Start stepping into adulthood slowly this summer. The truth is that doing the boring tasks of life, the things that seem so basic and routine, actually help you build confidence as an adult. So do it. Do your laundry, get up on time on your own, figure out how to manage your own money. You're going to be put in a position to decide things when you're at college. You're going to decide when to text or call home. You're going to decide when to study, what to eat, when to sleep. And by starting some of those practices now, if you don't have them quite developed yet, start them now so that by the time you get to Hope, you'll be like, oh yes, I can do this. The other thing in all of that is this summer, you should start checking your Hope email. If you haven't done that, there's a whole slew of emails waiting for you. And there are things that you need to tend to get ready for college. One is your health insurance, that there is likely a reminder in your email if you haven't taken care of health insurance with Hope yet. You have to fill out your health history form, class registration. Incoming students, if you haven't filled it out yet, it's due tomorrow. So make sure you check your email after this. Housing information will come to your email when it's time. Bills will also come to your plus.hope.edu account, which you would have received a mailing that has that information in it. So that's maybe a side tangent. It's maybe mundane. Maybe you don't want to do it. But if you do, you are one step closer to adulthood. And we just encourage you to take charge of your life. I do want to say that sometimes when we're trying to be independent, we have this false notion that asking for help is not okay, but you should always ask for help. I still ask my mom for help when I have a laundry stain that I can't get out. So it's always okay to ask for help. There are so many people at Hope ready and willing to assist you if you need, but take charge of your life. We believe in you and you should believe in yourself. Back to Kristen.
I think the other piece in thinking about how are you independent but interdependent? So you're independent in yourself and you're asking for help, but the other piece of college and in life in general is that we need people around us to help us. We need people in our corner, we need mentors, and we need a community. And that's what Hope is. Hope is your community who will help you get through with faculty and staff, but also friends. And obviously, like, I work in residential life. I wholeheartedly believe in a residential college experience. I wholeheartedly believe in the things that you learn in the classroom and the things that you learn outside of the classroom, and how you live together and how we be together. And so one of the biggest things in this transition too is finding those people and finding that community. One of the things though I want to put a little bit in perspective is thinking about, for a lot of you, you've lived in a community, in a place, in a church, in a school, in a part of the country for a really long time. And so we take all of these ways that you've known for 18-ish years of your life, and then we put y'all in a building together and we say, okay, live well together. And there's two sides to that, right? One side of that is like, whoa, that's scary and overwhelming, and it's gonna be messy. There's going to be some conflict. That's a normal part of community. That's a normal part of getting to know each other. The other side of that is that it's really exciting. It's really exciting to have this new experience, to meet new people, and to be able to rely and get some different connections with people who aren't who are new to you, and that you're doing this experience together. I can test that when you brush your teeth next to somebody, you like become lifelong friends with them, and that's part of what living is together. But taking some time, while getting to know those people and getting to find those people might take a little bit of time. Again, some of you might have had the same friends since you were 5. And so thinking about, how do I meet new people? What is that going to be for me? And how do I want that to be when I'm at college? How do I want to step into that? So one of the things that I'll really urge you on is when you're unknown, or when you're nervous, or when there is something or somebody's experience or someone's identity or someone's place in the world that they come from is different than yours, to be curious about that, to lean into that, to wonder about that, not be afraid, but say, how am I going to be better by knowing this person and interacting with them? And just really not making assumptions, not having judgments, but just lean into that uncertainty and find people who are going to connect with you. And again, like I said, it might take a little bit of time for you to find who those folks are. It might be a new experience. Some of you, it might not be. But the thing that we want you to do is show up at Hope College and be authentically you. Be every bit of who you are, and you are going to find your place at Hope. You're going to find it. You're going to find your people. You're going to find your community, and it's going to be a rich place that's going to support you and help you get through this transition and this journey and live these great years of your life that are going to set you on the path to the rest of your career and the rest of your time. So one of the things that I need to say, so kind of switching gears a little bit, is one of the biggest differences in college is how the college and how some of the administration interacts with parents. So our colleges and universities are bound by some federal regulations called FERPA. And what that means is that we cannot share student information with anybody other than the students. We can't share grades. We can't share how people are doing in classes. We can't share some of that information. So for parents, it's a little bit of it's a big shift, really, I think, from what you understand and what you know and what you have access to in your college student's life to what you're going to have access, or in your high school student's life, to what you're going to have access to in your college student's life. And again, that, though, is what Ellen said, is kind of, you're an emerging adult, students, so we want you to do that, and we are going to treat you that way. We are going to treat you as an adult who's making some of those decisions and struggling through some of, how do I do some of these things for myself? And sometimes that's for the first time, and sometimes that's not. But how do we help you kind of become that person? And don't hear me say you're just going to have to figure that out on your own. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of students who work for us. There's a lot of employees like Ellen and I who really are ready to come alongside you and navigate some of this unknown and this transition. But parents, that's a little bit for you, and students, for you to know that the way that we interact and the way that we can communicate legally with parents shifts in college. I'm taking a look at my notes. The thing that we will do, though, and we want you to do is call us and have some conversations. So it's very typical for me to get a call from a parent saying, hey, my student's roommate situation is not great. And I will hear that and I'll listen to that. And then a typical response that you'll hear is, thank you so much for this information. I'm going to reach out to your student so I can better understand what that experience is, and we can work together to find a resolution. So even though there's kind of some difference in how we're communicating, that information to us so we can come and help your student is really vital. So please have that, and please know that as well. that leads me into my last little piece that I want to talk about is expectation setting. So Ellen said earlier, how will you communicate with each other? So there's 4 areas that I think over the summer, the student and family, you guys can talk to figure out what is this going to be. So one of those is academics. If that information is not coming from the college, what is your expectation as a family for students to be sharing updates on classes, grades along the way, any of that? That's not going to be coming from us. So what is your expectation of each other that information is going to be shared? Finances. How are you going to work with spending money, or what is the expectation of engagement in your classes because of what is your expectations of engagement in your investment in this college education? Communication. What is your communication style? How often are you going to communicate? What is the expectation of how fast you might do that via an email or via a text? What is the communication kind of standard going to be for you and your family? And health and safety. So what are the things that you would expect to communicate about if you're not feeling well, and you're kind of concerned with everyday kind of functioning in life? So what are your parameters around expectations about health and safety for yourself? So those are the things that I think we want you to spend some time to proactively talk about. So when you get in the middle of the semester, you're not kind of you're not stuck in a place of thinking, oh, I thought this was going to be something that we were going to talk about. It's just better to get out in front. And that's what I'll tell you. That's what we expect roommates and floor mates to do. So part of your coming to campus is the same kind of conversation with your roommate of how are we going to share our space together. So it's just it's a good practice, and those 4 things I think will help get you on the track to be in a common understanding and not making assumptions of how you're going to communicate and live into the semester. Ellen?
Yes, back to me. We are so excited for you to come to Hope, and we do not want you to be nervous beyond normal nerves, like everybody gets butterflies in their stomach. But throughout the course of the next 8 weeks, if you have questions, you can email firstyear@hope.edu. You can email orientation@hope.edu if it's specific to orientation. And just know that we are working here to provide answers to your questions and get you the information you need so that you feel ready and equipped for Hope. Like the orientation director said, our experience for families will be virtual. So every aspect of what you would have, most aspects of what you might have anticipated happening on campus in August, we're pushing to virtual experience this summer from July 7 to August 4, and those will happen every Tuesday. So just think in your mind, there's something every Tuesday for you at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. More information to come on what those will be. The first of those will be July 7. And then students, we've gotten a lot of questions about orientation and what that experience will be like. I can tell you that some of it might be virtual based on weather and requirements based on where we are with the pandemic, but it will also be in person. And the in-person student experience will begin on Friday, August 14th in the evening. So move-in will happen ahead of that, and more information, more details about moving in will take place. And Kristen might say it's a little bit about that later, but just know, because we've had a lot of questions, when does student orientation begin? It will begin in person officially on the evening of August 14th, which is a Friday, the Friday before classes begin. So with that, I think we're gonna throw it back over to Katie.
Thank you so much, Ellen and Kristen. Wow, we get to see you all in just a few months, August 14th. We're going to really get into our Q&A session now, and we're going to start again with President Skogen. We talk a lot about the Hope Way, and tonight I just wonder, President Skogan, if you would share some more about what is the Hope Way? What makes Hope so unique, especially in light of these current circumstances?
Yeah, thanks, Katie. Great, and I touched on this a bit earlier. I think the Hope Way is, first of all, it's a very student-centric way, and it's part of our culture is we simply do everything with the students first and foremost as we're making decisions and as we're doing things. And so part of the Hope Way is just having everything be very, very student-centric. I think the other thing is that we really view what we do here as not just education. Education is part of it, but it's really this transformational experience that includes education. It includes faith formation and discovery, and it includes a discernment of your calling and the role in which we believe God is calling you to impact the world. And we take that kind of holistic approach where it's education is part of it, but it really is this holistic approach. So what we've done as we're going into the fall, and I know my sense is, and I'm thinking back to my own freshman year, I think part of what you're going to go through is over the next couple months, you're going to get so much information that it'll start to just feel like a mushy blur. But I want to assure you a couple of things. First of all, as we've thought about the fall, and as I said in the open, we've literally spent thousands of hours working on the fall. What we've done is we think we're taking an innovative approach to our framework for reopening, but we're also not doing anything radically different. And we're not doing anything radically different because we really believe in the Hope experience. We believe in living and learning together. We believe in worshiping in person. We believe in classroom, in-person experiences. And so what we've done is taken the core Hope experience, and we've made some adjustments to make that core Hope experience as safe as possible. And that's basically the framework that we're taking for the fall. The biggest change, as you know, from the way it would be in a normal year to how the fall is going to look is that the calendar has shifted. And so we're going to start on August 17th. That's a couple weeks earlier than the normal schedule. We're going to adjust fall break. Fall break in a normal year would be a 4-day weekend in October, and we're going to separate those 2 days off into 2 separate standalone 1 days off in the middle of the week. And then we'll end the semester on the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. And that will, we think that will allow us to finish the whole semester in person, and it will limit travel to and from campus, which will mitigate the risk that we spread the virus within our campus and within our community. So that's the most radical change we're making, is simply a shift of the academic calendar. There will be some other operational differences, and we'll talk through some of those in a minute. But I think what I want you to hear is that we truly believe in the core Hope experience, and the approach we're taking to the fall is to preserve that, to preserve the core Hope experience as much as possible, making some adjustments to it so that it's as safe as possible, but preserving the core in-person living and learning together experience that makes Hope so special. And we believe in it. I believe in it personally, because I was here as a student. As I said, 22 years ago, I came here as a student, and it just changed my life. And so we're going to do everything we can to preserve the core Hope experience. I know there's some questions coming through, and I know there's a lot of uncertainty. We'll answer every single one of your questions. Some of them we don't have the answer to tonight. A lot of them, to be honest, we don't have the answer to tonight, but we will get answers to all of them. And I think that's the headline, is that we're going to do everything we can to preserve the core Hope experience. Some things may require some adjustments and sacrifices from all of us, but the core Hope experience we're going to try to preserve. So one of the questions I see is around athletics. We're planning to play athletics. We're planning to let our student athletes play, but there's a lot of ancillary questions there. Will there be fans in the stands and things like that? And we don't have answers to all of that yet. But again, the core Hope experience, our goal is to let student athletes play. And that's kind of the approach we're taking, is doing everything we can to preserve the core Hope experience, but to preserve it in a way that protects public health, both for our campus and for the community of Holland and West Michigan.
Thank you so much. There is a new face on the screen. I'm going to introduce you to Carl Heidemann. He's our Director of Process and Innovation. And Carl's going to talk for a minute about some of the questions we've had related to the overall safety strategy.
So just like everybody else, I'm so excited to welcome you to Hope College. And I went to Hope a little bit longer ago than our president, and I've got a son who graduated from Hope. I've got a son who is in this freshman class. And so I'm a parent just like the rest of you on this line. I'm thinking about it from that perspective. One of the many tasks I'm involved right now is on what's our health, safety, and operations team, which is coordinating our safeguards for the pandemic. And what I want to say to you very generically is that our overall safeguard strategy is to have 4 core mechanical components to them that when they're stacked together are proven to be very effective. That's our primary safeguard strategy, and I'll say a few things about that in a minute. But the other thing, we want every safeguard strategy to be very similar to that primary one. If it's an athletic event, we're going to have to modify a few things. If you go into a chemistry lab, we're going to have to modify a few things. But one of the things that we're really trying to do is not have safeguard strategies that are confusing and hard to follow. And so there's going to be reoccurring themes in all of them. So our core components are really 4 elements, mechanical elements of a safeguard strategy that a lot of places are using very effectively. And when stacked together, they really stop or slow the spread of this disease. So the first one is just daily screening and self-monitoring. If people have symptoms and they're encouraged to deal with them if they have symptoms, that's a very effective strategy. The second strategy is intense focus on personal hygiene, hand washing, wiping down surfaces before and after using them, just those personal hygiene things. The next part of our strategy is distancing. We know distancing is effective. We're really working on the 6-foot distancing. That's a pretty big standard right now. And then face coverings and face masks. That's the 4th part of our strategy. Each of those pieces can be effective by themselves, but when combined, just like in a car, you've got seat belts, anti-lock brakes, and airbags, and other safety components. Each of them by themselves can be effective, but when they're all put together, cars get very safe. And that's our overall strategy for safeguards. The last thing I want to say about this, I talked about how we want it to be a comprehensive and consistent strategy. There are mechanical components to this that I just mentioned, but the other is cultural. It's a fact that college students leave campus sometime. And if we get these habits into the college students and they leave campus to go to other places or off-site places, a lot of colleges just aren't addressing that. And so you can be as safe as you want on campus, but if you leave. And so a huge part of what we're doing with these mechanical components is turning them into cultural habits that students recognize that to be cultural good citizens, they need to practice these habits everywhere they go. And we're very confident that's going to keep all the students at Hope and all the members of our community safe moving forward.
Thank you, Carl. We have so many questions about housing, roommates, move-in, and so I'm going to turn it back to Kristen to answer some of those.
I love that people are excited about where they live, because again, I'm super passionate about that. And it is a core part of who we are. Like President Skogan said, living in community and being in that space and being residential is part of what we are. So we are still nailing down what those plans are. And a lot of that is what Carl was talking about. How do we incorporate those core components into the living experience? Because we believe in community and because we believe in the learning and connection with other people, we are planning on having students have roommates. So I know that's a big question. Yes, plan on having a roommate. There are places and times if somebody is immune compromised or has a different accommodation, they will work with our DAR, Disability and Accessibility Resources Office, to make the accommodations that they need to for that. So work there if that is a consideration that you definitely need to have. In the email that you saw we talked about living cohorts. And so that's really the group of people that you live with. So Dykstra Hall has clusters. So there's a group of students who live together. Other buildings have hallways. For our upper division students, those are cottage and apartments. So your cohort is the people that you're going to be living with, sharing a bathroom with, sharing some common space with. And so what we're trying to, what we're figuring out right now is how do those safeguards fit into your roommate pairing, your cohort as a larger group, and then the campus community as a whole. So that's what you're going to get updates on in the next little bit. And again, part of that is going to be your responsibility of how do you keep your common space clean. There will be some expectations that you wipe down a sink after you use it in the bathroom. Some of those things that we know we will have increased cleaning and increased kind of physical plant staff doing those things, but we all need to do our part to make sure that we're keeping each other as safe as possible. So those are the two kind of biggest things. The other thing, we typically give roommate pairings out at the beginning of July. We're still hoping that that's our timeline, but it might shift a little bit. So I don't have enough to know exactly when that's going to be, but our normal timeline is the beginning of July. It might stick there. If it changes, we will definitely let you know as soon as we can. Move-in. So Ellen said that the first official orientation kind of in-person events are going to be in that evening of the 14th, which is a Friday. We're going to do a staggered move-in process. So we know we're going to have to spread people out to have a little bit of extra time and space, so we're not having high densities of folks. In some places, that's going to be kind of having people check in different areas of the building. So we're going to be still working on those, but it will likely happen kind of in a couple days before, and we know that is a stressor on families to understand how they're going to do travel planning and whatnot. So we will get that out to you as soon as possible, but it will be staggered throughout a couple of days before the 14th and on the 14th.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah.
We know that one of the things that makes Hope so special is the student life experience. Of course, academics are so important, but there are a lot of things that will also make your Hope experience really fun. And Ellen is going to share some more about that.
There are so many ways to get involved on campus, and the Student Life Office is located in the Boltman Student Center. At the beginning of the year, new students, you will have an opportunity to be introduced to our different student groups. We have over 65 student groups. We also have Greek life. That process happens in the spring, so you don't have to figure those things out yet. We want you to become acclimated as a student and also get involved in a co-curricular experience. And for parents, just so you know, research shows that students who are involved in something outside of the classroom, it could be a co-curricular, it could be athletics, it could be a job, they tend to be more successful in the classroom. So pairing something with your curricular experience outside of the classroom actually helps you do better in classes. Now students, remember what I said, you have to take charge of your life and you have to plan when you're studying and plan your schedule and not overextend yourself. But we know you can do it, we believe in you, and we are here to help. I also think I could speak to one other or a couple other pre-orientation programs that are provided at Hope. For those of you who are involved in the Summer Bridge program, because of the shift in the academic calendar, Summer Bridge will take place from August 9 to the 14th. So that program, you would move in on the 9th. And then for students who are involved in Step to Success, again, that will be for students, the family experience will be virtual. But for those students, that programming will begin on Thursday, August 13th. So more information to come from those specific program leaders. Yeah, look for that in your email if you're involved in one of those programs.
Thank you, Ellen. We are going to go back to Carl for a minute and learn some more about what your in the classroom experience will be like.
As you figured out, I have my hands in a lot of things. So I've been working with the teams that are figuring out what classes will be like. There are a lot of questions about online classes and how Hope will be doing that. I'll kind of handle that through this. First of all, one thing we know right now that for class sizes of 20 students or less, which is a big chunk of our classes, those all have plenty of classroom space with social distancing, all the measures that we talked about earlier. We have plenty of classroom spaces, so those classes will, for the most part, meet face-to-face. We're currently having a little bit of a crunch with some of the larger class sizes, but even there, we generally have space for 50 to 75% of those classes, and we're actively converting more spaces to be classrooms. And so face-to-face is a huge, huge priority for us. There will be times though where we will have some online classes. What I want to say about that is, first of all, it's kind of a secret, but Hope College has taught online for over 20 years. Our first online class was in 1999. We've done this before, and we do it differently than other schools. A lot of other schools teach online with huge numbers of students to save the college money, to to have less faculty teaching more students. We have the same faculty to student ratio in our online classes as we do in our face-to-face classes. And our faculty have a lot of experience teaching this way. Another thing that's really, really important, I'm the advisor of a student group, and I talk to students very regularly. Online classes, when used around the fringes of an education like they have been at Hope, instead of the core of how your classes are delivered, give students more flexibility. So if a student with one online class has often just a little bit more flexibility. So if they're in a student club, if they're an athlete, if they're a musician, if they're an artist, they have more time to do the other activities and take their class at a less a self-disciplined but less rigorous planned schedule. The last thing I'll say about how online classes at Hope will be different are our students love to study together. And so you may be in an online class, but you'll be studying with groups in your cohorts, which is way different than taking an online class from home and being at home a lot. So we really hope that even if you're taking an online class, you'll be able to experience it the Hope way in something that we've done with experience. But again, the vast majority of classes will continue to be face-to-face with safeguards in place.
Thank you, Carl. I'm going to turn it back to President Skogen just for a few closing remarks.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Well, I'll just close by again expressing our excitement and enthusiasm for your class. It's as I said at the beginning, you're an impressive group of people. You're a large class with a lot of diversity, and we just simply can't wait to have you on campus. So know that we're excited to have you. Know, as you've heard tonight, we know that you have a lot of questions. Know that we're committed to giving you answers to all your questions. And so the Tuesday evening calls will help with that. And if you've got other concerns or questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. We're here to serve you, and I can't wait to be together in person, serving you together. Hope is a special place, and you know that already because you chose to come here. But you're really going to love it, and that's not platitudes. That's coming from, and you heard others who also are alums. We love this place, and we love this place because it changes lives, and that's why we're so committed to preserving the core Hope experience. So yeah, I think that's it. I know that this is that there's so much uncertainty in the world right now. One of the things we talk about a lot at Hope is we like to try to define the word hope. And one way that we define the word hope is that we believe hope inherently means, and we think this is scriptural, this is biblical, we think hope inherently means that the future is going to be better than the present. And we know that's the case. We know that's the case for our institution. We know that's the case for all of you. We're just so excited to have you here. Hope is this confident and joyful expectation that something good is going to happen. We have stickers that define the word hope that way. Something good is going to happen, a confident and joyful expectation that something good is going to happen. And one good thing we know that's going to happen, and it's going to happen in less than 2 months, is that the class of 2024 is going to come to our campus and be here. And we just can't wait. We really can't wait to have you here. So thanks for joining us tonight. We'll get answers to all your questions over the coming weeks. And I can't wait to meet you in person. For those of you I haven't met yet, I can't wait to meet you in person in the middle of August. So thanks again.
Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you here again next Tuesday, July 7th, for our next Something Every Tuesday.